All right, so have you heard the latest buzz? Will Bitcoin actually hit $1 million?
Yeah, I've been hearing that a lot lately.
Well, we took a deep dive into this very question by checking out a podcast called Will Bitcoin Reach $1 Million? The Truth About BTC's Future.
Interesting.
And let me tell you, these hosts did not hold back. It was like a total financial showdown.
Oh.
They covered everything, like why Bitcoin's scarcity is such a big deal,
Yeah.
the rise of those ETFs, and even what could happen if governments decide to, rain on the crypto parade.
It's a lot to unpack.
Oh, it is.
Yeah.
But you know what? I think we can handle it, so buckle up because we're about to break it all down for you.
All right, let's do it.
Okay, so first up, let's talk about Bitcoin's limited supply. Only 21 million Bitcoins will ever exist. That's it.
Right, and that's a big deal.
It is. It's kind of like a built-in defense against inflation.
Yeah, think about it like this.
Okay.
You're working hard, saving money, but everything just keeps getting more expensive.
Tell me about it.
Right, that's inflation, eating away at your hard-earned cash. It's the worst.
And that's where Bitcoin comes in. Its fixed supply is designed to resist inflation, kind of like digital gold, but some argue even more scarce.
So it's like a safe haven, a way to protect your money from losing its value.
Exactly. And that idea really appeals to a lot of investors, especially when you compare it to traditional currencies.
Yeah, because governments can just print more money whenever they want.
Right. Which can devalue your savings.
Not cool.
Not cool at all. And that's part of why Bitcoin is so attractive to some people. They see it as a way to opt out of that system.
I can see that. But even with that scarcity, Bitcoin has had its fair share of, well, let's call them adventures.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Remember when Bitcoin was way lower? Like $60,000 felt impossible?
Oh, yeah.
Then bam, it just skyrocketed past that, hit over $100,000.
Crazy. Totally. And now $1 million is the new target. I mean, it's almost hard to wrap your head around. But here's the thing. There are some big players entering the scene, and they could really shake things up. We're talking about institutional investors and those ETFs, exchange-traded funds.
Yeah, ETFs have been a game changer for sure.
Okay, so before ETFs, how hard was it for institutions like, say, pension funds to get into Bitcoin?
It was a lot more complicated back then.
Like that?
They had to figure out all these complex custody solutions and worry about security risks. It was a whole thing.
So basically, ETFs made it easier.
Exactly. With a Bitcoin ETF, they can invest in Bitcoin without actually holding the cryptocurrency themselves. It's kind of like buying shares in a company that tracks the price of Bitcoin.
Oh, that makes sense. So less hassle, less risk.
Pretty much. And the fact that we're seeing all these ETFs popping up now, well, it tells you something.
What's that?
It's a sign that the traditional financial world is starting to take Bitcoin seriously.
That's a big deal.
It is. But on the other hand, the podcast host brought up a really important point. What if governments decide they're not too thrilled about Bitcoin's growing popularity?
Oh, yeah, that's a whole other can of worms.
It is. What happens if they start cracking down on crypto or even, launch their own digital currencies?
Uh-oh. Those CBDCs, central bank digital currencies, right? That's what they're called.
That's right.
So, instead of carrying dollars or euros, you'd have a digital wallet with, digital dollars or digital euros.
Exactly. Now, here's the thing. This is where it could get tricky for Bitcoin.
How so?
Well, if governments are pushing their own digital currencies, they might try to limit Bitcoin's use.
Oh, I see.
Imagine if they make it harder to buy or sell Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Or offer incentives to use their CBDC instead, make it more appealing.
Yeah, they could totally do that.
It's a real possibility and it definitely changed the game.
All right, so we've got scarcity on one side, institutional adoption on the other, and then there's the whole government regulation piece. It's like a three-way tug of war.
It is. And we can't forget about the whales in the room.
The whales.
Yeah, remember the podcast host talked about those big players, the ones holding huge amounts of Bitcoin?
Oh, yeah, right.
They have a lot of power to influence the market.
That's kind of scary, isn't it?
Right.
Just a few individuals could really make waves.
Yeah, it's definitely something to think about.
Actually.
Especially in a market as volatile as crypto.
For sure. And it's not like most everyday investors have that kind of power.
Right.
It's a bit unnerving, honestly, but...
Yeah.
Okay, let's get back to that $1 million question.
Yeah.
Will Bitcoin actually reach it?
Yeah.
We've heard arguments for and against it, so...
It's tough to say for sure. The crypto market is unpredictable,
Oh, yeah, totally.
We can analyze the trends, the technology, the regulations, but there are always surprises.
You never know what's going to happen next.
Exactly. But this deep dive has given you a good starting point. Now it's up to you to keep researching and form your own conclusions.
Yeah, don't just take our word for it, or anyone else's for that matter.
Exactly.
Dig deeper, learn more, and make informed decisions. But Hey, let's just imagine for a second, what if Bitcoin does hit $1 million? Like, what would that world even look like? How would it change our everyday lives, the global economy? What would it mean for the future of money itself? Those are some pretty big questions to ponder, right?
Definitely food for thought.
It is. And as you navigate the world of cryptocurrency, remember, it's exciting, it's unpredictable, and it's full of possibilities.
That's for sure.
So keep exploring, keep learning, and who knows, maybe you'll be part of writing the next chapter in the Bitcoin story.
Yeah, you never know.
All right, that's it for our deep dive this week. Catch you next time.
See you then.